Hey there guys, welcome to the next video here on the Duct Tape Stuff channel. We're going to be making a duct tape bracelet in this video just by making strips and then kind of forming them into loops. Now it's definitely not one of the most complicated tutorials I featured on the channel, but it is very repetitive depending on how many loops you're making for a bracelet or even a necklace depending on what you're trying to make. So let's get started here on making a duct tape loop bracelet. Alright, so your first step is just to choose your color. I decided to go with pink, of course, for the first set of loops, and you probably want to go with about a 3-inch length for the loops. It really doesn't matter, but you want to kind of go with one and then stick with it for the rest of the bracelet. That's what these are up here, about 3 inches. So what I do is I cut each strip here into 3 different strips, kind of just by eyeballing, and I don't measure or anything like that. You can also cut it in half and then work with just 2, but I found that these are about the right thickness for what I'm trying to go for. So you take your first strip and you kind of fold it on itself, just like this. This can be a little tricky because duct tape is always a little bit difficult when you fold it in on itself. So you have just about that much folded over. Then you want to very carefully fold it over once again. And then once more. About 3 times is how much it'll take, depending on how big you're cutting it. Then you want to make sure it's nice and stuck down. Make sure it doesn't pop off itself. And there we have our first start of our loop. So we're going to take another one and we're just going to repeat that process once again. So you kind of fold it off on the bottom, fold it once again. It doesn't matter if it flattens out a bit, that's kind of what you want. And then you're going to fold it one more time and make sure it's good and stuck down. Now you're just going to make tons of those based on which color. You can use a little bit of dragon tape, you can use some other colors like purple or teal. I went with kind of a yellow, orange, and checker theme for this one, but definitely experiment. Some colors go better than others, and you can definitely make a very cool bracelet by alternating them like I did up here. So once you get a bunch of these strips, it's time to connect them. So what I did is I took a small strip of tape here that's kind of just right off the roll. I cut it about 1/4 of an inch. I sliced it directly in half, and each one of these is going to be our connecting strips for these strips down here. So if you were starting off, you just make 3 of these and then work your first one through like this, but since I already have some on the chain here, I'm going to work with these right here. So you're going to take your strip, you're going to apply it, so about half of it's on this piece, half of it's just hanging off there, and it's lined up directly with the side. You're going to stick this piece directly onto the back there, and this can be a little tricky. You want to make sure it's pretty much lined up. This might even be a little bit too long. I can cut that off if it's a little too long. And then you want to just keep wrapping this all the way around here. Now you want it to be decently long because otherwise it has a kind of a tendency to kind of just unwrap itself if there's not enough tape there. So there's our first one. Now we're going to take our second one. We're going to feed it through exactly the same way. Kind of hold it like that. Once you get a decent amount, it's kind of easy to not get confused, because once you get a whole bunch and when you're first starting off, they kind of go in every different direction. You're trying to figure out where you started and where you need to go next, but it gets a little bit easier when you get a nice chain of them. Alright, so we're going to do the exact same thing, wrap it around like this, and then we will have another 2 loops added. Now I went with 3, so I'd probably go with another 3rd pink one, and that would kind of complete the look, and I would keep making those all the way around my wrist right here. Now when it comes to connecting your bracelet, we're going to use a little bit of velcro and a slightly larger strip. All I did was to cut out a strip of tape, fold it in on itself to make it a little bit larger, and you're going to need to put the velcro in a strategic place so it's able to loop around like that. Then we're going to take our 2 ends. One of course goes around that end, the other will go around here. This would help if it was a little bit longer, but I think you guys will get the idea. You go around like that, stick the velcro on, and there you have the entire loop right there, as you can kind of see. So that's how to attach the thing together, the bracelet. You can also kind of use magnets, maybe a little bit of duct tape, but the velcro is probably the easiest way to get it on and off. With magnets, usually they're a little bit larger, and there you might have to go with a much larger strip to kind of go on there. But since these are all smaller, it might look a little bit different. But that's pretty much how to connect it with velcro. Probably the best way to do it. Alright, so that's how to make a duct tape bracelet using strips and then turning them into loops. As with all duct tape creations, there are a ton of different ways of kind of just making it, you know, more personalized or making it a different way. You can definitely experiment with turning it into a necklace if you made it a lot longer to, you know, to go around your neck. You could use a whole bunch of different colors. You know, as I said before, some colors go better than others. So with the amount of colors of duct tape we have now, you can go completely crazy with whatever color combination you want. You can also experiment with the size. Obviously I made these to 3 inches, but if you were to make them maybe smaller to 2 inches or even 1 inch, it'd be a little bit more difficult to work with simply because they're smaller, but it would have a totally different look to it and maybe look a lot cuter if it's kind of with tiny little loops with either 1 inch or even 2.5, 2 inches. So definitely, like I said, a whole bunch of things you can experiment with. Definitely catch the channel for more videos coming soon. I hope you guys liked this video on how to make a duct tape bracelet. I'll catch you next time.